50 Apache rifles were aimed at Cole Bennett, and the cowboy still refused to leave. The sun hung low over the valley, turning the red cliffs the color of old blood. Cole stood beside his horse with both hands away from his gun. Dust had settled across his coat. A thin line of sweat ran from his temple to his jaw. Across from him, Apache warriors formed a wide half-circle. No one shouted. No one rushed him. That made it worse. Men who meant only to scare you usually talked too much. These men did not. At the center stood Chief Koda. Gray touched his hair, but age had not softened him. His eyes were steady. His voice was quieter than the wind moving through the dry grass. You were warned. Cole looked at him. I remember. You crossed our boundary. I know. You were told to leave before sunset. Cole glanced toward the western ridge. The sun was almost touching it. I know that too. A younger warrior shifted his rifle higher. Another followed. Then another. Cole's horse stepped sideways, leather creaking under the saddle. He reached slowly for the reins. 3 rifles snapped toward him. Cole stopped. His Colt rested against his thigh. 6 rounds. 50 rifles. A bad man might call those odds unfair. A smart man would call them final. Cole didn't either. He let his hand fall. Chief Koda watched him carefully. What do you want here? Cole's jaw tightened. A man named Samuel Reed. No reaction. Not from the chief. Not from the warriors. But Cole had learned long ago that stillness did not mean ignorance. 3 days ago, he continued, Samuel rode south. Koda said nothing. He never came back. This is not your land to search. Cole looked beyond the warriors. Past the camp. Toward the canyon cutting deep into the valley. Somewhere out there was a trail that had already given him one answer. Blood. And one question. Why? I'm not leaving without knowing what happened to him. A murmur moved through the men. Small. Low. Dangerous. Chief Koda took one step closer. If you stay, you dishonor my warning. Cole met his eyes. If I leave, I dishonor my friend. That changed something. Not enough. But something. The younger warrior in front raised his rifle. Fully. Koda lifted one hand. The man stopped. The chief looked at the lowering sun. When the shadow reaches the creek, you go. Cole did not answer. Koda's voice hardened. If you refuse, my men will remove you. Cole glanced at the 50 rifles. Then back at the chief. Then they'll have to carry me. The valley went silent. Even the horses seemed to feel it. One warrior stepped forward. Cole did not move. Another joined him. Still, Cole's hand stayed away from the colt. Then a woman's voice came from behind the circle. Let him stay. Every head turned. Cole looked toward the ridge. A young Apache woman sat on a dark horse beneath the last gold light of evening. Long black hair moved in the wind. Her posture was straight. Her expression unreadable. She rode down slowly. The warriors made room before she asked. Cole noticed that. So did Chief Koda. The woman dismounted and walked to her father's side. Her eyes settled on Cole. Not friendly. Not afraid. Measuring. Koda's jaw tightened. Naya. She did not look away from the cowboy. He has been warned. Yes. He refuses. Yes. Then why should he stay? For a long moment, Naya said nothing. Then her eyes dropped to Cole's holstered gun. Still untouched. She looked back at her father. Because a man who came to steal from us would have reached for it by now. Cole held her gaze. And for the first time since entering Apache territory, he realized someone there was not asking whether he belonged. She was asking whether he was telling the truth. The blood beside the water had already dried by the time Cole Bennett found it. That morning, hours before 50 rifles surrounded him, the valley had been quiet enough to hear his horse breathe. Cole rode south alone. No posse. No deputy. No man beside him eager to prove something. Only a bay gelding, a Winchester beneath the saddle flap, and the memory of Samuel Reed saying he would be back before dark. Samuel had been gone 3 days. By the second night, Cole stopped calling it delay. By the third morning, he saddled up. The trail into Apache territory narrowed between red cliffs and dry cedar. Warning markers appeared along the higher rocks. Cole saw them. He kept riding. Not because he thought they meant nothing. Because Samuel meant more. Near noon, he reached a shallow creek beneath an old cottonwood tree. The first thing he noticed was the silence. The second was the blood. A dark stain marked a flat stone beside the water. Cole dismounted. He crouched and touched the edge with 2 fingers. Dry, brown, old enough to worry him, not old enough to forget. He followed the ground. A boot heel had cut deep into the mud. Then another. Farther ahead, the dirt carried a long, disturbed line, as if something heavy had been dragged toward the rocks. Cole's jaw tightened. Sam. No answer. The horse shifted behind him. Cole kept searching. Then sunlight flashed from something half buried near the creek. Brass. He pulled it from the mud. A small compass. Samuel's. Cole knew it immediately. The dent along the lid had come from a fall 2 winters earlier. Samuel had cursed that dent for months, but never replaced the compass. Cole wiped the mud away with his thumb. That was when he saw the mark engraved beneath it. A circle. 2 crossing lines. Not Samuel's. Before he could study it longer, a bowstring tightened behind him. Cole froze. A woman stood across the creek. Apache. Young. Still as the stone beneath her feet. Her black hair was pulled back from a face that gave nothing away. The arrow in her bow was aimed directly at his chest. Cole looked at the arrow, then at her. Mourning. Her expression did not change. You crossed warning marks. I saw them. And continued. Yes. Her eyes moved toward his revolver. Cole understood. Slowly, he unbuckled the gun belt. He placed it on the ground. The woman watched him carefully. You do that easily. Not really. Then why? Cole held up the compass. Because I'm looking for the man who carried this. Her eyes shifted. Just once. But Cole saw it. Recognition. He turned the compass so the engraving caught the light. You know this mark. The woman lowered the bow by an inch. Not trust. Not yet. Where did you find it? Right there. She stepped into the creek. Water moved around her moccasins as she crossed. Cole did not reach for his gun. She stopped several feet away and looked. At the brass compass. Her face grew colder. I have seen this before. Where? She raised her eyes to his. On wagons belonging to Gideon Shaw. Cole felt something settle in his stomach. Shaw. A man who never moved goods unless money was waiting at the other end. Cole looked back toward the blood. Then the drag marks. Then the canyon beyond. The Apache woman followed his gaze. My name is Naya, she said. Cole looked at her. Cole Bennett. Her eyes returned to the blood. If your friend came through here, she said quietly, he did not leave alone. The footprints told a different story than the blood. Cole stood beside Naya at the edge of the creek, staring down at the ground. The trail was clearer here. 3 sets of boot prints. Heavy heels. Hard soles. White men's boots. Naya crouched and touched one mark with 2 fingers. Not ours. Cole nodded. Wasn't thinking they were. She looked up at him. Most would. Cole glanced toward the canyon. Most men decide before they look. That answer stayed between them for a moment. Then Naya stood. The wind moved through the cottonwood leaves above them. Cole followed the tracks. One set belonged to Samuel. He knew the stride. Samuel dragged his right foot slightly when tired. The other 2 were deeper. Men carrying weight. Or forcing someone forward. A wagon rut appeared 10 yards farther on. Cole knelt beside it. Fresh enough that the edge still held shape. Naya pointed toward the west. It came from town. Cole looked at her. You can tell. The stone here is darker. She pointed to dirt packed inside the rut. West road soil. Cole studied it. She was right. Useful habit. Looking. Paying attention. Naya gave him a brief look. Try it more often. Cole almost smiled. Almost. They followed the wagon marks into the canyon. The walls narrowed. Redstone rose on both sides, shutting out most of the sky. The air changed. Cooler. Still. Somewhere ahead, a raven called once. Then nothing. Naya lifted one hand. Cole stopped. She pointed toward a cedar branch. A strip of burlap hung from it. Cole pulled it free. Black letters marked the cloth. GSF Gideon Shaw Freight. Cole's face hardened. Naya watched. Him. You know this company. Everyone does. Do you trust him? Cole looked at the cloth. No, why? Because Gideon Shaw never moves freight without moving something else with it. Naya's eyes narrowed. What? Money. Land. Influence. She looked ahead. Then why is his wagon here? That's what I intend to find out. They kept moving. A few minutes later, Naya stopped again. Blood. Fresh enough to still hold red. Cole crouched. His breathing changed. Samuel. Naya said nothing. The trail continued deeper into the canyon. Then it split. Samuel's prints ended. The other boot marks continued. And beside them were drag marks. Cole stared at the ground. They carried him. Or moved the body. Cole looked at her. He's alive. You do not know that. I know Samuel. That is not the same thing. Cole stood. No, his voice dropped. But it's enough. Naya studied him. For the first time, the suspicion in her face weakened. Not trust. Not yet. But something closer. They moved on. At the next bend, the wagon appeared. Broken wheel. Crates scattered in the dust. No horses. No men. Just silence. Cole stepped closer. One crate had split open. Inside were rifle cartridges. Naya's expression changed. Shaw told the settlements he stopped bringing weapons south. Cole picked up one cartridge. He lied. Naya looked toward the deeper canyon. Then back at the blood. A stage trail. White men's boots. Weapons. A missing man. Cole finally saw the shape of it. Someone did not simply want Samuel dead. Someone wanted him found dead here. On Apache land. He looked at Naya. This isn't about my friend. Her eyes hardened. No, Cole closed his hand around the cartridge. It's about what happens after they find him. Samuel Reed was supposed to be dead. Cole heard the breathing before he saw the man. Weak. Uneven. Hidden behind the broken wagon. He moved fast. Naya caught his arm. Wait. Cole stopped. She pointed toward the ground. Another boot print. Fresh. Someone else had been there. Recently. Cole looked toward the rocks. Nothing moved. The canyon held its breath. Then the breathing came again. Cole stepped around the wagon. Samuel lay beneath a narrow shelf of stone. His shirt was dark with blood. One side of his face was swollen. But his eyes opened. Barely. Cole. Cole dropped beside him. You look terrible. Samuel tried to laugh. It became a cough. Naya knelt on the other side. Do not move. Samuel looked at her. Then at Cole. Apache. She found you before I did. Samuel swallowed. That makes two things I was wrong about. Cole ignored that. Who shot you? Samuel closed his eyes. Shaw. The name landed hard. Naya's expression did not change. Cole's did. Gideon Shaw. Samuel nodded once. He knows I found it. Found what? Samuel's hand trembled toward his coat. Cole helped him. Inside was a folded sheet stained along one edge. Naya opened it carefully. Survey lines. Property marks. A wide blue path cutting through the valley. Cole frowned. Water. Samuel gave a weak nod. Spring. Naya's eyes sharpened. She leaned closer. That line runs beneath our southern ground. Samuel looked at her. Not just yours. He pointed with shaking fingers. Feeds west too. Cole followed the markings. Ranches, dry claims. Old grazing land. All circling the same source. Naya understood first. He bought the land around it. Samuel nodded. Months ago. Cole looked at the names. Gideon Shaw appeared again and again. Cheap parcels. Bad soil. Worthless ground. Unless the water belonged to him. Cole's jaw tightened. So why kill you? Samuel breathed through the pain. Because I saw the contracts. Naya looked up. What contracts? More land. Samuel coughed again. After the Apache are gone. The words chilled the canyon. Cole stared at him. Gone how? Samuel looked toward the scattered rifle crates. You already saw the answer. Naya's face hardened. Shaw was not moving weapons into the valley to defend anyone. He was building fear. One white man dead on Apache land. A few settlers frightened. A few angry men armed. One bad night. Then soldiers. Then empty ground. Then cheap land. Cole looked at the survey again. Samuel whispered, he doesn't need to win a war. Naya's eyes stayed on the blue line. He only needs one to begin. Silence. Even Cole had no answer for that. Naya tore a strip from her sleeve and pressed it against Samuel's wound. Can he ride? Cole asked. No, Samuel tried to sit up. His face went white. Naya pushed him gently back down. Definitely no. Cole looked toward the canyon entrance. Shaw's men could return. Soon. Maybe they already were. He looked at the paper. Then at Samuel. Then at Naya. 3 people. 1 wounded. 1 mistrusted by the town. 1 standing where he had already been told not to stand. And somewhere beyond the canyon, a man with money was counting on all of them staying divided. Cole folded the survey. Naya watched him. What are you going to do? He slipped it inside his coat. Make sure Shaw finds us on the same side. Trust did not arrive like lightning. It came quietly. In a canteen passed across a fire. In a wound wrapped without being asked. In the decision to sit close enough to hear another person breathe. By nightfall, Samuel was sleeping beneath the broken wagon. His fever had risen. Naya had done what she could, binding the wound tighter and cooling his face with creek water. Cole sat across from her, near a small fire hidden between the rocks. Neither spoke for a long time. The canyon was colder now. Smoke clung low. Somewhere above them, Wind moved through cedar branches. Cole handed her the canteen. Naya took it. Their fingers brushed. She noticed. So did he. Neither said anything. She drank and passed it back. You trusted me with him. Cole looked toward Samuel. You knew what to do. That is not the same as trust. No, Cole took a drink. But it's close. Naya watched the fire. The light moved across her face, softening nothing and revealing more than daylight had. You speak differently than most white men who come here. Cole looked at her. How many have you met? Enough. That sounds unfortunate. For the first time, her mouth almost curved. Almost. Then it disappeared. They asked my father for land. Cole said nothing. They asked for water. She continued staring into the flames. They ask us to move farther away so they can feel safer. Cole's jaw tightened slightly. And what do they call you when you say no? Naya looked at him. The question surprised her. Sometimes savage. Cole's eyes dropped to the fire. Lazy word. What would you call me? He looked back at her. Naya. She held his gaze. A simple answer. But something about it stayed. The fire cracked between them. After a while, Naya said, Your people fear mine. Cole rubbed his thumb along the dented lid of Samuel's brass compass. People fear plenty of things. That was not what I said. Cole nodded. No, he thought for a moment. Fear saves men the trouble of learning. Naya studied him. And you are different? Cole gave a quiet breath. I'm trying not to be stupid. That brought the smallest smile. This time, she did not hide it fast enough. Cole noticed. He looked away before she could regret it. The silence returned. But it had changed. Not empty anymore. Naya glanced toward the survey tucked inside his coat. Shaw will come back. I know. He will bring more men. I know. And if your town believes Samuel was attacked here, they'll come angry. Naya's expression hardened. My people will not run. Cole nodded. I wouldn't ask them to. She looked at him carefully. Then what will you ask? Cole turned Samuel's compass in his hand. The brass caught the firelight. Enough time to prove who wanted this fight. Naya leaned forward. And if no one believes you? Cole looked toward Samuel. Then toward the dark mouth of the canyon. Then I stand where they can see me. Beside Apache? Cole met her eyes. Beside the truth. The words hung between them. Naya said nothing. But when the fire burned lower, she moved from the opposite side of the flames. Not beside Cole. Not yet. Just closer. Close enough that neither had to raise their voice anymore. By dawn, Gideon Shaw's plan had become simple enough to see. One dead white man. One frightened town. One Apache camp blamed for it. And then the rest would happen by itself. Cole stood over the survey while the first gray light entered the canyon. Naya knelt beside him. Samuel was awake again, barely. His face looked worse than it had during the night. Sweat covered his forehead. Every breath came shallow. Cole traced one finger along the blue line on the paper. The spring runs here. Naya nodded. Through our southern valley. And west. Samuel whispered from the blankets. Cole looked at him. Enough water for how many ranches? Samuel swallowed. Most of Red Mesa country. Naya's eyes moved across the property marks. Shaw's name appeared around the water like a fence. He bought useless land. Cole nodded. Because he knew it wouldn't stay useless. Samuel gave a weak cough. He paid almost nothing. Cole looked toward the ammunition crates. Then back at the survey. Now the shape of the scheme was complete. Shaw did not need the Apache to attack first. He only needed settlers to believe they had. Samuel's body found here would become the story. The rifle crates would become fear. Fear would become armed men. Armed men would become a mistake. And one mistake would be enough. Naya spoke quietly. My people defend themselves. I know. Then soldiers come. Cole nodded. Then everyone calls it proof. She looked at him. Proof of what? That Shaw was right to be afraid. Naya's expression hardened. He is not afraid. No, Cole folded the survey. He's counting. Samuel shifted beneath the blanket. 20 men. Cole looked over. What? Shaw has 20 men waiting west of the ridge. Samuel's voice cracked. Maybe more now. Naya stood. When? Today. The canyon seemed to tighten around them. Cole slipped the survey into his coat. Naya looked toward the trail. He wants us angry before sunset. He wants both sides angry. Samuel closed his eyes. He said once, fear is cheaper than bullets. Cole stared at him. That sounded exactly like Shaw. A man who preferred other people to do his violence for him. Naya turned to Cole. You take Samuel back. To town. Yes. And you? I warned my father. Cole shook his head. You think I'm leaving you with this? I think you have a witness. I also have the reason Shaw tried to kill him. That paper means nothing if your people refuse to read it. Cole knew she was right. That was the ugly part. A survey could prove motive. Samuel could prove murder. But if fear reached town first, neither might matter. Naya stepped closer. This is how Shaw wins. Cole looked at her. How? He separates everyone. Apache from settler. Town from valley. You from me. The last words came softer. Cole noticed. So did she. Neither looked away. For a moment, the canyon was silent except for Samuel's breathing. Then Cole said, Then we don't separate. Naya held his gaze. What are you saying? We move Samuel somewhere safe. And after that, Cole looked toward the eastern trail. After that, we go to your father. Naya's expression tightened. My father already warned you. I remember. He may not care about your intentions. He doesn't have to. Cole touched the folded survey inside his coat. He only has to care about what Shaw wants. Naya looked at him for a long time. Then she called softly toward the upper rocks. 2 Apache riders appeared from the shadows. Cole had not known they were there. Naya gave them instructions. One moved to Samuel. The other turned his horse west. Cole watched. Where is he going? To find the sheriff. Cole looked at her. Naya mounted. If Shaw wants both sides blind, we make sure someone else is watching. Cole climbed into his saddle. Ahead of them, the trail led straight toward Apache territory. Straight toward Chief Koda. Straight toward the warning Cole had already broken once. Naya looked at him. You can still leave. Cole settled his hat lower. No. And this time, when they rode out of the canyon together, neither of them was pretending the fight belonged to someone else. By late afternoon, Cole Bennett had one last chance to ride home. He turned his horse the other way. Naya saw it happen from 20 yards ahead. She reined in. You are going the wrong direction. Cole looked toward the western trail. Town lay there. So did safety. Samuel would be taken to Sheriff Haynes. The survey would still exist. The compass would still point north. Cole could have told himself that was enough. It almost was. Then he looked toward the Apache Valley. Smoke rose beyond the ridge. Families were there. Children. Old men. People who had no idea a stranger named Gideon Shaw had already decided what their fear was worth. Cole turned his horse east. Naya watched him. You were told to leave. I remember. My father was clear. So am I. Her expression tightened. This is not about Samuel. Anymore. No, then why? Cole glanced toward the valley. Because now I know what leaving would cost. The wind moved dust across the trail. Naya said nothing. Cole continued riding. A few seconds later, she followed. They reached the ridge near sunset. Apache camp spread below them. Horses near the creek. Cooking fires. Long shadows. Normal life. Cole had the strange feeling of arriving somewhere he had already been blamed for disturbing. Naya stopped him before they descended. My father may not listen. Then he won't. He may order you removed. Wouldn't be the first bad order I ignored. That earned him a look. Not quite annoyance. Not quite amusement. Then she rode down. Cole followed. Conversation died as they entered camp. Faces turned. Warriors stepped from between lodges. Cole kept both hands visible. No one asked him to. He knew better now. Chief Koda stood near the central fire. His face hardened when he saw Cole. Naya. She dismounted. Cole did the same. Koda's eyes moved to him. You returned. Yes. You were told to leave. Yes. A murmur moved through the camp. Koda stepped closer. Why do you keep crossing lines? Cole looked at him. Because someone else is trying to erase them. That answer did not help. Not yet. Koda lifted one hand. Warriors began to gather. 5, 10, 20. Cole could feel the pressure building. Naya stepped toward her father. We found Samuel Reed. Koda's eyes shifted to her. Alive. For now. And Naya glanced at Cole. Not the survey. Not yet. She had agreed with him on one thing. Truth mattered more when men were ready to hear it. Koda looked back at Cole. You brought danger here. No, Cole's voice stayed calm. It was already coming. A distant sound rolled across the valley. Hooves. Many. Every face turned west. Dust was rising beyond the ridge. A long brown cloud beneath the dying sun. Riders. Naya's expression changed first. Shaw. Chief Koda looked at Cole. The old anger in his face mixed with something new. Calculation. Cole could almost see the question forming. Had the cowboy led them here? Or had he come to warn them? One warrior raised his rifle. Another followed. Then another. Not toward the ridge. toward Cole. The circle tightened. Chief Koda spoke quietly. You have until the shadow reaches the creek. Cole looked at the 50 rifles beginning to rise. Then at Naya. This was the moment. The one he had ridden back toward. And now there was nowhere left to go. The rifles came up one by one. Not fast. That was what made it worse. Cole stood in the center of the camp while the last sunlight slid down the red cliffs behind him. 50 Apache rifles. One cowboy. No good ending if somebody lost patience. Chief Koda faced him from 10 feet away. You were warned. Cole nodded. I know. You returned anyway. Yes. Then give me one reason not to send you back in pieces. Cole did not reach for the survey. Not yet. He looked toward the western ridge. The dust cloud was closer now. Riders moving hard. Shaw's men. Naya stepped beside Cole. That changed the circle. Not much. Enough. Koda looked at his daughter. Move. She did not. Naya. Her voice stayed calm. He came back to warn us. He came back with white riders behind him. He did not bring them. Koda's jaw tightened. How do you know? Naya looked at Cole. Then she reached into his coat. Every rifle shifted. Cole stayed still. She pulled out the folded survey. Then the brass compass. Samuel's compass. Mud still darkened the edge of it. She walked toward her father and placed both objects on the ground between them. Koda looked down. What is this? Naya opened the survey. The paper trembled once in the wind. Blue lines crossed the valley. Property marks surrounded them. One name appeared again and again. Gideon Shaw. This is why Samuel Reed was shot, she said. The camp went quiet. Koda's eyes moved over the page. Naya pointed to the blue line. The spring. Then to the parcels around it. His land. Koda looked at Cole. You expect me to trust paper made by white men? No, Cole's answer came quickly. A few warriors glanced at him. Cole nodded toward the compass. Trust the man Shaw tried to kill for finding it. Naya picked up the brass compass. He crossed our boundary. Her voice carried farther now. Everyone heard it. Cole looked at her. She continued. So another man could not. Erase it. That landed differently. Koda looked at his daughter for a long moment. Then at Cole. Why would you risk your life for land that is not yours? Cole looked around the camp. At the children being pulled behind their mothers. At the old men watching from the shadows. At the warriors holding rifles they clearly did not want to use first. Then he looked back at Koda. Because Shaw is counting on everyone believing that only their own side matters. No one spoke. The hoofbeats from the ridge grew louder. Koda's expression did not soften. But something behind it shifted. Cole saw it. So did Naya. A young warrior near the fire lowered his rifle first. Just an inch. Then another man did the same. Then 3 more. The circle slowly changed from accusation to readiness. Not trust. Not forgiveness. Something more useful. Restraint. Chief Koda picked up the compass. He turned it over in his hand. The Shaw freight mark caught the dying light. Then he held it out to Cole. Stay. One word. Cole took the compass. Their eyes met. Koda turned toward the western ridge. The remaining rifles lowered. Not one fired. Naya stood beside Cole, close enough that their shoulders touched. She did not move away. Beyond the valley, the first of Shaw's riders appeared through the dust. Gideon Shaw was coming to start a war, and he still believed Cole Bennett would be standing alone. Gideon Shaw rode into the valley expecting fear. What he found was silence. 20 armed riders came behind him, coats gray with dust, rifles resting across their saddles. Shaw rode at the front on a black horse, his hat low, his expression already carrying the confidence of a man who believed everyone else had arrived too late. Then he saw Cole, standing beside Chief Koda, Naya beside him, and 50 Apache warriors who were not firing. Shaw slowed. His smile disappeared, only for a second. Bennett. Cole said nothing. Shaw looked around the camp. I heard Samuel Reed was killed. Naya stepped forward. He is alive. That changed Shaw's face more than he wanted it to. Cole saw it. So did Koda. Shaw recovered quickly. Then where is he? Safe. Convenient. Cole reached inside his coat. Shaw's men tightened their grips on their rifles. The Apache warriors did not move. Cole pulled out the survey. Then Samuel's brass compass. He held both, where Shaw could see them. You recognize these? Shaw laughed. Too fast. A piece of paper and an old compass? Naya spoke. A survey of our water. Shaw's eyes shifted toward her. Your water. Her expression did not change. The water you planned to own after everyone else was gone. A murmur moved through Shaw's riders. Some looked at one another. That was the first crack. Then came the sound of horses from the western trail. 4 riders appeared. Sheriff Walter Haynes led them. Beside him rode the young Apache messenger Naya had sent before dawn. Shaw's jaw tightened. Haynes dismounted. Gideon. Shaw forced a smile. Sheriff, I need your gun. The smile vanished. On whose word? Haynes looked at Cole. Then Naya. Then the survey. Not theirs alone. He reached into his coat. Samuel Reed gave my deputy a statement before we rode here. Shaw went still. Haynes continued. He named you. No one spoke. The valley seemed to shrink around Shaw. One of his own riders lowered his rifle. Then another. Shaw looked behind him. Men who had followed him into Apache territory suddenly found the ground more interesting than his orders. Fear had brought them here. Evidence was sending them home. Shaw's hand drifted toward his revolver. Cole saw it. So did everyone else. 50 rifles could have risen. None did. Cole's hand stayed away from his Colt. Sheriff Haynes said only one word. Don't. Shaw froze. For a long moment, the whole valley balanced on that one decision. Then his hand fell. A deputy stepped forward and removed the revolver. No shot. No blood. No war. Just a man finally discovering that fear stopped working when nobody agreed to carry it for him. By midday, Shaw was riding west under guard. His men followed quietly. The Apache warriors returned to their families. The valley began breathing again. Later, Cole tightened the saddle on his bay gelding. Naya stood near the wooden gate. You are leaving. Cole looked at her. I thought that was the rule. It was. Chief Koda stood several yards away. He said nothing. He simply walked to the gate and opened it. Cole looked at Naya. I thought I refused to leave. You did. He glanced at the open valley beyond her. That was before someone gave me a reason to stay. Naya smiled. Not much. Enough. Cole mounted. A moment later, she mounted beside him. They rode through the open gate together. No promise. No kiss. No grand speech. Only 2 horses moving in the same direction. Some boundaries are drawn in dirt. Some on paper. The hardest ones are drawn inside people. And that morning, not one of them needed a gun to disappear.